Welcome to Manifest This Believer versus Skeptic. I'm Sharon Giroux, your resident skeptic who asks all the tough questions. And with me is Jennifer Neal, our manifesting maestro. Whether you're rolling your eyes or raising your vibration, we dive into all things manifestation, mindset, and energy from every side. Hit subscribe, settle in, and get ready for spirited debates, surprising experiments, and laughter on the journey to creating a life you love. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Manifest This Believer versus Skeptic. Now, Jen and I have had a wee bit of a break. I've been traveling, Jennifer got married, and life just sort of lifed on us, which was fantastic. We needed the break because we've been going nonstop for well over a year now. So today is our catch up conversation and just a reset to see where things are going for us and how life is. So, Jen, how are you today?
Good, I'm good, I'm married.
I know that's exciting.
No, it's very exciting. So I got married on May the 30th, and it's now July the 7th,
7th, 8th, 8th.
8th. So you and I have definitely had a good almost 2-month break.
Yeah.
I was just saying to you, I'll say it again for the audience, that I've almost felt totally uninspired by the topic that I love the most, which you know is this manifestation, the law of attraction, how to make your life better and awesome and get all the things that you want to be, do, and have in your life. And I have felt so uninspired in the last month to 6 weeks. And I think part of that is because I'm so damn happy. Like, there's there are things I want in my life, of course, but I'm so happy. Like, everything is so perfect. It's so joyful. I'm so content. And as we know, on the Abraham Hicks law of emotions, the scale of emotions, contentment is pretty much the closest you can get to ultimate bliss. And yeah, so I'm so content. Part of me, that lack of searching now means I'm not driving content as much as I used to. Anyway, that's all what I'm.
It's interesting that you say it that way because I half expected you to say, because I'm so busy. Because, I mean, no kidding, you had a wedding to plan, you had was a destination, it wasn't in your hometown. You had people to move into all those places, make sure everybody has a good time, and then a honeymoon, and then a resettling. So I half expected you to say you were uninspired because you were too busy. It's interesting you're saying it's because you're content and happy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that kind of rolls into what I thought we could talk about today. Because I think they're aligned. I think there's a topic here. What I said to Sharon this morning was, I think we should talk about this idea that nothing in your life transforms or nothing becomes transformative until it becomes specific. And I've been so specific about so many things in my life, and they've all come to pass, every single one of them. Some of them fast, some of them took longer, but they've all come to pass. And right now I'm so content. There's nothing specific that I'm looking to manifest right now because I'm so content, which is an ultimate place to be because that just means everything great continues to happen. But I thought we could talk about
Yeah.
this idea of extreme contentment and maybe the opposite of that, which is being specific about things you'd like to see transform in your life. So, I think it's this contrast between general wants and needs and desires and specific wants and needs and desires, and they're both good. So let me explain. On the weekend, we took our boat. We wanted to take our boat to a neighboring yacht club, which we have what's called reciprocals with, which basically means because you belong to a club, you get to go to other clubs for free because we do the same for everybody, right? We take their guests, they take us. Problem is,
Right.
and I know this is going to sound really snotty, but our boat is so big, we cannot get into a lot of yacht clubs. Talk about manifesting. We have a big boat. And so there are length restrictions to what is acceptable at a lot of other clubs. So this one club we wanted to go to, which our friends are at, our friends said, listen, there's a dock right beside our boat. Just sneak in there. Nobody ever watches this dock. I know you will fit. Just sneak in there. I said, well, no problem, but here's the problem. If by any chance they come and find us and they tell us to move the boat, and I know that Darwin, my husband, is golfing all day. I can't move the boat by myself. So we have a problem. So I decided
Right.
to go the right route and I was specific. And I told the club how big we were and that I think we might be able to fit on dock F. Actually, I didn't even tell them that. I waited for them to give me a dock and they came back to me and they said, "We'll throw you into F9, which is exactly the dock I wanted." So I got the dock
Right.
I wanted. We got to the club. We had a great weekend. But the specificity of me knowing I wanted dock F9 and it came to pass, that is the bonus of being specific. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Makes sense.
So, what I'm encouraging everyone to do is to be specific. People say they want money, they want a better relationship, they want better health, they want a different life, but that's not specific enough. It could be specific enough to get something. It might not be
Yeah.
exactly what you want because the brain can't pursue a blurry target. It's really hard for the brain, and it's difficult to recognize opportunities when you haven't defined what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
It does. So let me throw this out at you in terms of specificity and see, because you know me, I like an owner's manual for everything. I like process and procedure. So, as you know, I had a big birthday on Sunday, and after
Yes,
all of
happy birthday.
the thank you. After all of the silliness with my arms and wrists and blah, 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 and my
Yeah,
crazy travel schedule for the last 5 months, I actually sat down with AI and said, "This is what I want my next 6 months to look like. I want to get
amazing.
back to full fitness and health. I want to play pickleball this many times a week. I want to see my trainer this many times a week. I wanna go back to clean, whole food eating. What does the menu look like? I wanna finish my book, and I wanna write 3 more cruise talks." And I put that all in there. We had a little back and forth discussion, and it spat back out with some of my input, something that I thought was a doable schedule and doable 6 months, which I then had it put into my calendar.
Wow.
How specific is that?
Pretty darn specific. The first thing you said was, "I want to get back into fitness and health." And you left that one hanging, but then you later on in your discussion, you then defined it. I want to work out this many weeks or this many times a week. I want to eat this kind of food. That's exactly what we're talking about. Your attention to detail changes the outcomes. And then your
Right.
action, of course, we know it's all about inspired action. Your actions then change based on the goals that you've set. They really are goals. Like they're goals. And
Mhm.
no goal happens without action. So once your actions change, your expectations change, and that's when transformation begins.
And I think what was interesting to me was actually getting it pumped all into my calendar, including grocery lists, Sunday meal prep so that I don't have to think about it the rest of the week. Obviously, discussions with my trainer in terms of what I needed and wanted to do. He actually said you could do this in 3 months, not 6, but okay.
Well, isn't that a little bit of a blessing?
Well, it's having someone also hold me accountable.
Not only that, but he collapsed your timeline.
Yeah.
You just bent reality there.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, you thought you were getting it done in 6, he's gonna give it to you in 3.
Maybe not all of it.
No, you
I don't
gotta
know that
do the
my book
work.
will be finished in yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was just around the fitness piece, but yeah, like, you just cut the whole timeline in half. Wouldn't everybody love to have
Yeah.
accomplished all the things they want in half the time? That's amazing.
Well, I think part of it too is you talk about the specificity and the accountability that I think what I'm trying to say, and even though I have you as a benefit to have these conversations with, what astonished me about using something like AI was I could get very specific. I could ask it to ask me questions. I could ask it to help me prioritize. It would make suggestions like, maybe you need to do a baseline blood work and health check at the beginning, and then do it again in 3 months, and then do it again in 6 months because it knows I like evidence-based responses. So, it really tailored it to the way that I think and live and want to see results.
And that's amazing. You're just proving the point further and further. Clarity isn't just a planning tool; it's a manifestation tool. And as we said, nothing becomes transformative until it becomes specific. So, that line for me almost feels like a directive in life. Like, let's get specific. What do you, and I've been saying this forever, for years before you and I started this podcast. What do you want?
Yeah.
I would have vision board sessions way before vision boards were ever the thing to do. And they're not magic, but they do help you get specific on what it is you want. I'll give you an example. I think we talked about it here before. I want a winter getaway on the Gulf of Mexico. I want it on the Gulf. I don't want it in a neighborhood. I want it on the Gulf, right on the beach. I'm specific. I have the township I want it in. I have the location I want it in. I know exactly what I want. I know what I want. Challenge right now is it probably would cost me $11 million, which I don't just have floating around in my wallet today. What we have, though, decided on and gotten specific is, are we going to forego the rest of our winters in Florida because we can't have that right now? Of course not. We're going to keep having fun. We're going to keep being specific. So, what we're now zoned in on is a house on the canal, which is still on the water. We can still have a boat in the back. In fact, we couldn't have a boat in the back if we were on the beach. We can have a boat in the back. We would be on a canal in Florida. We would have our own home, which is important to us to get out of a condo and a condo corporation. And we're now specifically looking at those. We're
Right.
specifically looking at real estate that it is shaped by those definitions and specificities. Otherwise, where do you look, right? Are you looking all over Florida? Are you looking all over America? Are you looking everywhere?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm going to go back to where you and I have tension, which is you're the believer and I'm the skeptic. And everything that
Mhm.
you've explained is something that, you're working towards or manifesting. And everything that I've explained, I look at it, and we've had this discussion before, as a strategic plan. So where do you think the magic, for lack of a better term, of manifestation comes in to move it from my thinking of a strategic plan to your thinking of transformative manifestation?
I think the biggest difference between a strategic plan and a belief in having faith in something beyond our own ability is exactly that. Your strategic plan doesn't leave any room for magic. My strategic plan includes my own action and my own strength, but it also allows for magic to come in. Okay. And I'll give you an example. I got married. We're having a party in September. It's a big party. I'd love to look and feel my best at that party. I've got 3 months to do that. I don't love working out like you do. I don't love weights. I prefer to walk and do yoga, and I don't love anything to do with gyms or weights or anything. But kind of had this inkling in the back of my mind that I kind of like to dabble in it again. Used to be in it. Maybe there's something there for me. I could have, with my own brain and muscle, gone to the YMCA or something similar and said, give me a membership, but I knew I'd hate it. Instead, I put it on paper, I put it out to the universe. Next thing I know, by Matt, you call it whatever you want to call it. You want to call it magic, you want to call it God, wherever you're at on this scale. All of a sudden in my inbox comes this program by a woman that is 60 years old, and her whole MO is to get women over 40 back working out. I signed up on the spot, and I'm in week 2 and I'm loving it. So if I had
Wow.
totally just gone on my own muscle and joined the Y, I might not still be with it. I might hate it. I let something come to me, knowing I'd put it out there. I let it come to me and I let it resonate with me. You can say it's the same thing. I'm going to argue it's not, because we can go out and hustle and muscle our way into almost anything. But if you allow for the right, the perfect, the divine timing of something to come to you, I'm going to argue it's way better.
Okay, so help me get there. You've heard what I've done. Now, what's that step I need to take to get there to allow in that magic?
It's so easy, Sharon. You're going to hate the answer. Here's the steps. We talk about this all the time.
Of
Ask,
course I am.
right? Be specific. I want Doc F, right? I want Doc F9. Let's start there. I want Doc F9. Ask. Step number 2, believe. I believe it's possible that I can get Doc F9. I believe it's possible. I know the doc exists. I know it's vacant. I believe it can come into my life. Ask, believe, receive. I got it. What happens between believe and receive, though, is where everybody falls apart. It's letting it
Okay.
go. I had to be prepared, right? I had to be prepared to say, listen, I want F9, but God, now it's in your hands. And I go on with my life. I don't keep going back to my email to see if he's emailed. I don't keep calling the club to see if it's possible yet. I don't keep arguing with the dock master to barter my way into this dock. I just let the universe take over from there. And if it doesn't happen, it's because it wasn't meant to be. And I'm okay with that answer too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like the answer.
Nobody wants that answer, though. I know you don't.
No, nobody wants that answer,
I know you
right?
don't. And that's the difference between me and you.
Yeah. It's hard for me to consolidate that and think, for me to make a decision about, what to put in my mouth or to go to the gym or to do this or to do that feels like that's not something that the universe can put a hand into.
Well, listen, there's a few interesting things you just said, what to put in my mouth or not. You actually you have a part in this, right? You could keep sitting on the couch and eating
Sure.
jujubes for the next 3 weeks, and you would have none of the fitness and none of the body and none of the wellness and none of that. But the hope is, and here's where faith comes in. You ask for help with that. Universe, help me have the strength and willpower to walk away from the things that aren't good for me. Help me meet my goals. Give me the strength to have the willpower to say no. Give me the strength to go to the gym 3 times a week. You ask for help instead of doing it all on your own. Because guess what? As humans, our willpower sucks.
Right.
Ask for help.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that as a possibility.
Every day, ask for help for whatever you believe in.
Okay.
Help me today, universe. Help me make the right decisions. Help me go to the right places. Help me eat the right food. Help me be a better person. Help me have faith. I was going to say the minute you have some faith and the minute you believe that everything is in divine timing, you'll never have another worry again.
And the skeptic.
And that's okay because I was one once too.
Okay, so what do you think, Jen? Like, how should we end off this?
Unless you're blissfully content and happy, which I'm gonna say I'm almost there myself. If you're still in that skeptic, if you're still in that wanting, desiring, restless stage, your brain can't effectively pursue a blurry target. It just can't right now. You need specificity because it gives your subconscious something clear to shoot for. So instead of asking, what do I want? Like I want a relationship, for example, why not ask, what exactly does that look like? What am I doing? How am I feeling? Where am I going? Describe your future in enough detail that somebody else could picture it for you, and therefore they can start to make recommendations. We just talked about this. Like the reason I got married is because
Right.
one of my really good friends knew me so well and knew what I wanted that was able to say, you got to meet this guy named Darwin. You got to meet him.
Yeah. Yeah. And look where you
Because
are
I was
today.
specific, and look where I am today. So, to answer your question, what could we be doing? Here's a little homework if you want it. If your life feels stuck, don't ask, why isn't this working? Start asking, where am I being too vague? And maybe pick one area of your life and make it 10 times more specific than it is today and write it with pen and paper and put it somewhere that you can refer to it again in a few months' time.
Fantastic homework. Well, Jen, it was great to see you again, and it's great to have our conversations revitalize themselves once again. I hope you're enjoying your summer and everybody else out there is enjoying theirs as well. And thank you for joining us with Manifest This Believer versus Skeptic. Talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Manifest This Believer versus Skeptic. If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with a friend, believer or skeptic. And don't forget to leave us a review so others can join in the debate. Plus, check out Jennifer's TikTok account, Manifestation RX, where she writes daily prescriptions for manifesting your dreams. Think practical tips with a dash of magic. We love hearing your questions and stories, so tell us what you're manifesting or questioning this week. Until next time, keep an open mind and maybe manifest a little magic.